Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive right into one of the biggest decisions you'll make on AWS. When it comes to your database, should you build it from the ground up or just buy a solution that's ready to go?
Okay, so you're all set to launch your killer app. But wait, you need a database to actually power the thing. On AWS, this all comes down to a classic dilemma. Do you build it yourself using a raw Amazon EC2 server, or do you buy a managed service like Amazon RDS? It's the ultimate build versus buy showdown, and we're going to break it all down.
So, to help you figure this out, we're going to treat this like a real head-to-head competition. We'll look at the price tag, then we'll get into the big trade-off, control versus convenience. After that, we'll see how they stack up on performance and scalability, and by the end, you'll have everything you need to make the right call for your project.
All right, let's get to it. First up, let's properly introduce our two contenders. This is really the core dilemma: build versus buy in the cloud.
Okay, so let's break this down. On one side, you've got the build option, hosting your database on an EC2 instance. Think of it like this. AWS gives you all the car parts. You get a virtual server, a blank slate, but you're the mechanic. You have to build it, tune it, and maintain it. Total freedom, but also total responsibility. Then, on the other side, you have the buy option, Amazon RDS. This is like getting a brand new car with a full-service warranty. AWS hands you a fully operational database, and they handle all the oil changes and tune-ups. You just get to drive.
All right, let's kick off round one. And we're starting with the one thing on everyone's mind, the price tag. How much is this actually going to cost you?
Okay, if you just look at the sticker price, the raw hourly cost, an RDS instance can have a huge markup. We're talking up to 80% higher per hour compared to an EC2 instance with the exact same specs. That's a big number.
And you can see that difference right here in the numbers. For a pretty common instance, an M5.large, you're going from just under 10 cents an hour on EC2 to over 17 cents on RDS. So yeah, if you're just looking at this chart, EC2 looks like a slam dunk on price. But, and this is a big but,
That sticker price is not the total cost of ownership. This quote from a developer on Reddit just nails it. They tried the DIY route and said they spent way too much time tweaking. The time your team sinks into manual backups, patching servers, and pulling their hair out over performance issues, that's a real cost. That extra money you pay for RDS, you're basically paying AWS to make all those headaches go away.
So, what exactly are you getting for that extra cash? Well, that brings us right into round two, the classic battle of control versus convenience.
With EC2, you're in the driver's seat. You get root access. That means you can SSH into the machine, mess with the operating system, install whatever database engine you want, even weird, obscure ones. If you need a very specific feature like Polybase in SQL Server, EC2 is your guy. But with RDS, nope, that level of access is completely gone. AWS handles the machine for you, which is great for simplicity, but it does mean if RDS doesn't support a feature, you're just out of luck.
so what do you get for giving up all that control? A whole lot of convenience. This is what managed really means. RDS automates all that tedious stuff that nobody really wants to do. We're talking about automated backups, software patching, and my personal favorite, setting up a high availability replica that automatically takes over if your main database dies. All of that is just a few clicks in the console, not, a week of scripting and testing.
And here's a really good way to think about it. On one end of the spectrum, you've got EC2. That's Infrastructure as a Service, or IaaS. It's like AWS just gives you the raw materials, the servers, the storage, the networking. On the other end, you have things like RDS, which is Platform as a Service, or PaaS. Here, AWS gives you a ready-to-use platform, so you can stop worrying about the infrastructure and just focus on writing your actual application code.
All right, on to our final round. Let's see how these two options handle things when your app blows up and you've got users banging down the door. This is all about performance and scalability.
So let's say your app goes viral. You need to scale, and you need to scale now. If you're on EC2, well, good luck. It's all on you. You've got to provision a bigger server, figure out how to migrate all the data without downtime, and then set up all your own replication and load balancing. It's a whole project. With RDS, it's literally built for this. You can scale up to a bigger machine with a few clicks, or you can scale out by launching read replicas to spread out the load. It's just easy.
Now, I will say that manual control on EC2 does have its perks, especially for really specific performance needs. For example, you can get down and dirty with your storage and set up different RAID configurations. Basically, that's where you combine a bunch of disks to act like one. You could set up something like RAID 0 to stripe your data across disks for insane speed, or maybe RAID 1 to mirror your data for extra safety. This kind of deep, hardware-level tweaking is something you just can't do with RDS.
Okay, so after 3 rounds, who's the champion? Well, the truth is, there's no single winner. It's not about which one is better in a vacuum. The right choice depends completely on you, your team, your app, and what you care about most.
So let's just lay it out. You should choose EC2, the do-it-yourself option, when you absolutely need maximum control. Maybe you need to run a database engine that RDS doesn't offer, or you need a very specific feature that demands OS access. Or, hey, maybe you're just trying to squeeze every penny out of that hourly bill, and you've got the expertise on your team to manage it all yourselves. If that's you, EC2's your answer. On the flip side, you should choose RDS, the managed service, when your biggest priority is saving time and avoiding headaches. If you'd rather have your developers building cool features instead of patching servers, RDS is the way to go. If you want things like automated backups and high availability just handled for you, that's RDS. And, most importantly, if you realize that the cost of your team's time is way more valuable than the extra hourly cost of the instance, then RDS is an absolute no-brainer.
And that brings us to a final thought, something to really chew on. This whole debate, EC2 versus RDS, it's not just about databases, is it? It's about a much bigger trend in the cloud. As these managed services get more and more powerful, are we moving toward a future where managing infrastructure by hand becomes a niche skill, like something only specialists do instead of something every developer has to know? It's a really interesting question to think about for the future.